Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney, and it's Monday, May 24th. Thanks for being here for the top headlines from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. We have an update for you on the mask requirement situation. Giant Eagle is now the latest business to stop requiring fully vaccinated customers and employees to wear a mask. Giant Eagle said in a statement, those not fully vaccinated will continue to be required to wear a mask or other face covering while in the store. For those not fully vaccinated who are unable to wear a mask or other face covering, Giant Eagle's online grocery ordering continues to be available with convenient curbside pickup and delivery options. Basically, the store saying there, if you're not able to wear a mask for whatever reason, please utilize their online ordering option so that you don't have to go in the store without a mask on if you are not fully vaccinated. Some of the other stores that we have seen drop mask requirements for fully vaccinated people in line with the latest CDC guidance are Target, Walmart, Walgreens, BJ's Wholesale Club, Costco, CVS, Home Depot, and Kohl's. Now, a lot of you are searching how to enter Ohio's Vax-A-Million drawing. That first drawing will be on Wednesday. But if you haven't yet entered for this week, you're going to have to wait till next week because the deadline is Sunday before the drawing. So you can still register for the remaining 4 drawings, but if you're not registered yet for this Wednesday's drawing, you've missed out on this one. If you do need to register, you can do that at ohiovax-a-million.com, and Vax is VAX. If you don't have access to the internet, or you need to tell someone who does not have access to the internet how to register, they can call 1-833-4-ASK-ODH. That's 1-833-427-5634. Today, during his press conference, Governor DeWine gave an update on how many people have signed up for the Ohio Vax-A-Million drawing. He says 2,758,470 Ohioans registered for the $1 million drawing, and 104,386 young people registered for the scholarship drawing. The winners will be announced Wednesday at 7:29 p.m. And of course, we will have those for you on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Now let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers. These first numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. These are the global and the U.S. numbers. Globally, there have now been a total of 166,984,785 reported COVID-19 cases. Here in the U.S., we have 4% of the population around the globe, but 19.8% of the cases, that number being 33,128,036 reported COVID-19 cases here in the U.S. Globally, there have now been a total of 3,466,670 reported COVID-19 deaths. Here in the U.S., we have 17% of those global deaths. That number, 590,056. So now breaching the 590,000 point today. Here in Ohio, the latest numbers from the Ohio Department of Health, we have seen the number of new cases drop over the last 24 hours. It's in the 500s, the number of new cases reported in the last day. There have been less than 100 new hospitalizations, and right now 781 people have been reported as currently hospitalized related to COVID, and there are now in the mid-200s in the ICU. Now, taking a look at the COVID-19 vaccination picture, close to 39% of Ohioans are now fully vaccinated. That's more than 4.5 million people. Only almost 8,000 more people completed the vaccination process in the last day. These are much lower numbers than we've seen. More than 44% of Ohioans have started the vaccination process. That's close to 5.2 million people, and more than 9,000 in the last day. Again, a much lower number than we have seen. We're used to seeing low numbers over the weekend, but these are lower than we've seen. Now, for hundreds of thousands of Ohioans, the vaccine might not be as helpful as they're hoping. We're talking about people who are immunocompromised. The Washington Post reported about this. Millions of Americans who have had transplants or other conditions that require them to take immunosuppressant drugs, or who have diseases like AIDS that compromise their immune system, might not be getting the same level of effectiveness from the COVID-19 vaccines. Their defenses are already weakened, and it's possible that the vaccines might not give them much protection. Here's an example of something that people in the medical field are looking at. Eddie Hamilton, a 58-year-old person, he's a 2-time cancer survivor. He also suffers from AIDS, which is the disease caused by human immunodeficiency virus, or HOV. He got the 1-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine on March 8th. Then he said he went in for an antibody test. And he said it was alarming because he had waited the amount of time that should have been required for the body to start producing antibodies, and he didn't come up with any antibodies after having that vaccine. Now, the lack of the response is something that has been seen by other patients who have AIDS and also cancer and transplant patients. Now, it's not clear if there not being antibodies means that you're completely vulnerable to COVID-19, but Hamilton's doctor and other scientists have said that the effects of the vaccine, other than antibody production, might be protected. Still, something that is now being looked at because people with compromised immune systems were not included in the initial trials. Now, there are more than 25,000 people with HIV or AIDS in Ohio, and the Post estimated that 3 to 4% of Americans have immune weakening conditions. In Ohio, that could be almost 500,000 people. So these are people who may have chosen to get the vaccine who might not have the same degree of protection as other people with the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, this piece comes from Marty Schladen of Ohio Capital Journal, and he writes, "No, the state is not going to make you, but until it's more known about whether vaccinated people can spread COVID-19, he says this, the community-minded thing might be to keep masking up in settings like the grocery store or convenience stores until you can know if you are potentially hurting the person next to you." We have more information from Dr. Anthony Fauci on what he thinks is possible related to the origin of the COVID-19 virus. He is the top immunologist, of course, here in the U.S. He's leading the COVID-19 response. He says he's not convinced that the virus was naturally developed, and he is encouraging further investigation. This was at a Pointer event earlier this month. He was asked by PolitiFact managing editor Katie Sanders if he still believes that the virus was developed naturally. Now, this is something he did say he believed about a year ago. Well, now he says he's not convinced, and he thinks that we should continue to investigate that. Here's the direct quote from him. "I think we should continue to investigate what went on in China until we continue to find out to the best of our ability exactly what happened." He highlighted that it could have originated from an animal, as believed, but it could have been something else, and he says we need to find that out. Now, something else that we're seeing as a result, potentially, of the pandemic is fertility clinics are reporting that more and more people are freezing their eggs. This is something that I have firsthand experience with because it's something that I've done, and I'm doing a series on it on the 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney podcast. And today, we dropped the second episode in this 2-part series where I talk through what the process was like for me, the actual procedure of going to the doctor's appointments, doing the injections, and having the egg retrieval done. And I'm also joined with Cleveland Clinic's IVF director, Dr. Marjan Adiran, and she goes through the science of it. If it's something that you're at all interested in, you might want to give that a listen. Again, that's the 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney podcast, and you can find that on every single podcast platform. It's also linked at wkyc.com/3 Things to Know. Here's some good news for the Toledo area. Peloton, if you're into those exercise bikes, is building its first US factory, and it will be in the Toledo area. They plan to break ground on Peloton Output Park, that's what it will be called, in the summer, and start production there in 2023. It will be a $400 million investment, according to the company. It should create about 2,100 jobs and generate about $138 million in annual payroll. Our Lieutenant Governor, John Husted, said that he believes that these will be high-paying jobs. And according to Governor DeWine's office, the Ohio Tax Credit Authority approved a 15-year, 2.301% job creation tax credit for the project. Now, one more thing before we go here. If you watched the Billboard Music Awards last night, you might have seen one of Northeast Ohio's own getting a major award. I'm talking about Machine Gun Kelly, who's a Cleveland native. He won the award for Top Rock Artist. He beat out AC/DC, AJR, 21 Pilots, and Five Finger Death Punch to win. And he also won Top Rock Album. And while he was there, he gave a shout out to the city of Cleveland. When he was thanking people in his speech, in his acceptance speech, he said, "To the city of Cleveland, who raised a savage." Congratulations, MGK, really doing Northeast Ohio proud. That is it for your 3 News Now update today for Monday, May 24th. I'll see you next up on What's New with your trending stories in the Clicking in Cleveland segment. Don't forget, you can check out the new 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney podcast just dropped today. And if you're watching this video, by the way, 3 News Now is also available as a podcast. Go ahead and give that a subscribe and leave us a rating and a review so we can let you know. You can let us know what you're thinking. We can connect with more people here in Northeast Ohio. And I'll see you back here tomorrow with more 3 News Now. Until now and then, everyone, stay safe and be well. I'm Stephanie Haney.